So we've got Jacques from Monsieur Bees. We've got Filippo from DegDitor. We've got Johannes from Sulu.
Hi.
And Mikołaj from Sylius.
And Magda from Sylius.
Yeah, and me from Sylius also. I will be leading the CMS panel and will be trying to ask them questions so that they don't start fighting and so on. So I hope it'll be fun and you will learn which solution is best for which purposes, because we all probably know the situation when you build store and then your marketing team comes and asks, can they edit this little thing? And then the CMSs come. Starting with the first question, basically, I'm going to ask each and every one of you, what problem was your CMS originally designed to solve? Because they are for different purposes. And how has that mission evolved? Jacques, could you start?
Reply no fights.
No fights.
That's a great question. Basically, the answer is because there were no CMS in Sylius at the beginning. And when you have so we're probably going to say the same thing. So when you have an e-commerce store, you need CMS, you need images in your front, you need a homepage, you need stuff like that. And what was the second part of the question?
How did it evolve?
Man, we have CMS now. Depending on which solution you choose, whatever, it works.
Okay, I think that my answer is almost the same. We were driven also by customers that wanted a CMS, a solid CMS that maybe came from Shopify or other platforms. And we said maybe it's the time to create a CMS for Sylius with a nice user experience, let's say.
I have maybe a little bit more to say. Yeah, we at Sulu come from the Dachraum, that's in German, Switzerland and Austria. And there we have always to deal with a lot of languages. Switzerland is a bit special with their 3 languages, Italian, French and German. And German is also in the other 3 regions very popular, or the main language. And also in our region, tourism is very big. So we have always lots of languages in the same region, and websites always has to reach multiple languages. So Sulu was designed from the beginning as a multi-language and also multi-portal CMS, which was not so widely available back then. And so we started to building that from the scratch and building around Symphony. And since then, we really evolved into a direction where it's more data-driven and a content application platform. Not only content managing, it's really providing applications around the content. And we always say that all the websites and all the applications need content by its core. And around of that, there should be products or pages or whatever, and all of them uses content as the presenting layer at that point.
Mikołaj?
I just want to point out that we have people from France, Italy, Dach, and Poland, like talking to each other. And well, the regional factor is going to be present, that's for sure. Well, the Sylius CMS story is a little bit less sexy, I would say, because literally the answer to why it was created has, actually 2 answers to that question. So first is that literally there was no CMS in 2016. And probably something I should say sorry to many people for is that, I was the initial creator of that plugin and I really wanted to learn Sylius, so I decided to create something that wasn't there. Turned out it quickly became very popular in Sylius, so which is where things got a bit more complicated. And the next part of the question is how it evolved over time. Well, at first it's been stored in the different organization on GitHub, but eventually when I joined Sylius, I was quite tired answering the question why Sylius has no CMS whatsoever. At the same time, I knew that there were many other better solutions out there, so I had zero ambition to compete against them. So my idea was that what we can bring to the community is we could give them an official plugin that serves the content the way everything else is served in Sylius, provides a very basic set of features that you can either extend or replace if needed. And it's essentially that. So recently it's been completely redesigned from the architecture point of view because it required quite a lot of love, not only when it comes to upgrading to the recent Sylius version, but I somewhat feel we kind of made it the solution that you can use for development purposes if your content needs are not that complex, or if you are fine with like 70% of what's in there and the other remaining 20 to 30% is up for you to customize. But eventually, if your business grows or is more oriented around content, then well, there's plenty of solutions out there, and I truly hope that today we might finally draw or try drawing some line between them and try to find some recommendations for others to follow that we could sign under as Sylius. So yeah, that's the story.
And what is that one thing that, in your opinion, your CMS does best? And I will ask Johannes, because you told about internationalization. Is it this thing or?
Yes, but I wanted to say something different. Yeah, our CMS was founded from two guys, and I described that because it's very important for the history of us. The first guy was Rainer. He was the CTO of the agency where we originally coming from, and he was a very technical guy. So he wanted a sophisticated, technical, absolutely new solution. And the other guy was totally different. He was a design guy. His name is Bernd, and he always wants the best for the end user, so the user which comes to the website, and also for the content manager. And these are the two things where we're coming from. So we are trying to have a very solid, sophisticated technical platform. And on top of that, we want to bring UX and UI and usable forms and so on for the content manager, and absolutely freedom for the website developers and the designers. So that is the main reason behind the decisions we made.
Filippo, your one thing, in your opinion, that your CMS does best?
I think that it's to boost productivity from a developer experience point of view, because unless you're doing very complex things, it allows you to decouple the backend development from the front-end development. So front-end developers are free to develop their components without asking anything, almost anything to backend developers. And from a content editor point of view, it's because we built a React application on top of Sylius with live preview, drag and drop functionalities, and the capability of clone pages, content blocks, and so on. So we built it with the content editors and the developer experience of a front-end developer in mind. So I think this is what it does best.
Thank you. Mikołaj?
I'll keep it brief. I would say simplicity, because well, lack of features of advancement might be an advantage or disadvantage depending on how you look at it and where you come from. So I'd say if you are a software engineer and you know Sylius and well, you need something quick, simple, something you will understand quickly and then eventually extend with no effort, then it will be your friend. If you don't know React, for instance, or you really know that you only need like a few blocks here and there and your content won't evolve, then well, the Sylius CMS will be your friend. Other than that, I would consider something else.
Jacques?
Flexibility. So basically, when we built this CMS plugin, the issue was we had no CMS at all, and we wanted either the developer to be able to do whatever they wanted to do, so complex UI elements and simple UI elements, and at the same time, so for developers to be happy and to have the whole landscape of developing on Sylius using all the Sylius technologies, and at the same time for merchants, something easy to do, easy to use, still flexible, being able to use everything which is on the platform itself. So no synchronization, easy to install, easy to look at, to manage and stuff like that. We improved a lot our CMS ecosystem because we have one rich editor which gives capabilities to have all text area stuff, all descriptions, all content being managed by this editor. So actually it works with CMS from Sylius. You can just add this little part of rich editing content into Sylius and use the native CMS plugin. And then we've added, at some points we realized that, okay, the homepage isn't editable at all first. So we've added this homepage plugin, and then the CMS page plugin, and then the menu plugin. And so all those, it's an ecosystem, and you can just pick up what you want and specifically have a very good developer experience using them. So flexibility.
Okay, and if the guys that have joined here and are listening to us were to remember one thing, I think they would like to know what is the ideal project, ideal customer of your solution. So for whom would you propose your CMS? Jacques.
Everybody? No, I agree because there are plenty of solutions here, and I'm more than a person who thinks that you need to make a choice, and this choice is very depending on what you're going to do and where you want to perform. If you have an independent marketing team and they need to use a specific CMS platform and to avoid issues with rights and stuff like that, maybe it's not the right team for this plugin. But if you have developers who are willing to quickly, or not quickly, but more and more quickly with AI, but whatever, do some specific UI elements for your store. So that's the first part, because you can do very specific stuff. And for merchants, I said everybody, because basically we have shops with like, I don't know, just the company owner running the website. And for other of our customers, we have 10 people running all the CMS stuff. So basically it fits all needs, almost all needs, because other CMS fill the rest of the needs.
Okay, Filippo.
I think that for the DegDitor plugin, the best kind of e-commerce would be the one that needs a lot of editorial pages and experiential pages. Usually you can find that kind of e-commerce in fashion and luxury goods. But I think that would be the right project for our plugin.
Okay, Johannes.
I would say Sulu is a bit outstanding of the other solutions because we are living outside of the ecosystem. And so I don't have the big story how it could be. But we have a few customers together with Sylius and also commerce weavers, but they are all not the smallest ones. So I would say Sulu and Sylius together could serve lots of products in big shop systems with different integrations with ERPs and PIMs and all the other stuff together. And I think in such an ecosystem, it totally makes sense to separate responsibilities. So I would say if the project is big enough to have an ERP and a PIM system, you should also think about having specialized CMS system. And I think that format here makes totally sense because there are lots of different projects out there and each of systems we have now make totally sense. So starting with a small one, integrated, adding a content-rich editor, and if that's not enough, you have also internal, external system, I would say. So a system which integrates into Sylius and has, although the experience of a known system. And if that's not enough for the ecosystem and the operation, you should think about a specialized CMS, which does serving content and enriching content with specialized features, make it easier. And Sulu is in that case quite a good choice, but also there are lots of other solutions. I wouldn't say we have that best fit, but if you are in the environment of Symphony and Sylius, Sulu could be a good choice, especially for enterprise systems.
Mikołaj?
I wouldn't count it by the size of an e-commerce instance, but I would say that it mostly depends on how big your content team is. So I would measure it by the number of people, I would say.
Maybe also the importance of the content.
Yeah. It's a bit, I somehow feel like one relates to others. So I would say if your strategy is selling through content, obviously you probably have a wider team there. So up to 2 or 3 people, that's fine. So we have like very huge online stores running basic simple CMS because I don't know, they sell B2B, and the ultimate first thing they do is content related to product, which they do through PIM software. But eventually we also have smaller merchants running very basic content with Sylius. So it's hard to measure it by the size of merchant, but rather the size of the team, the processes related to content, and ultimately how important the content is. So the less important it is, the more nice to have it is, if you can say something like that about content in e-commerce these days. The simpler solution, and probably the simplest one you can use is the one offered by Sylius, and then eventually you go tier by tier. You can add Monsieur components on top of that, then you can eventually switch to DegDitor, and yeah, as you said, the state-of-art, Symfony-driven standalone system could be Sulu. Obviously, there are other Symfony systems out there that offer CMS capabilities, but at least from my experience, Sulu is like plug and play for Sylius developers. Yeah, that's also my optics on that.
Sylius is a technical product, but we are more and more trying to offer more non-tech friendly products, environments, plugins. With each part, new non-technical things appear in Sylius. And how do you, in your solutions, CMS solutions, support the non-technical content creators? Because content people are mostly non-technical. So especially in terms of collaborations, previewing content, how is it supported in your solutions? And I'll ask Filippo this time to be first.
Okay, so with DegDitor, first of all, again, user experience, let you do drag and drop and reorganize your content as you want. Let me think just a little bit. No, how we are helping no technical, let's say, users. I think that one thing is that when you create content blocks, developers can define with content editors what they really need to be changed on each block and what instead doesn't need to be changed and modified. Let's say you have extreme examples of fully editable content editors like Elementors for WordPress, where you can do whatever you do. You have thousands of options for each button you want to create and so on. In this case, you can limit the content editor to modify and edit just those attributes of a component he really needs to modify to keep the rest structured and based on the code of the front end have been developed.
Jacques, maybe?
I think the answer to that question is coming from our clients. When they use this, like I said, our CMS ecosystem is made of many plugins, but the main one is a rich editor, which gives you the capability to make your own pages by adding blocks, kind of like the DegDitor one. But the simplicity of doing that is kind of crazy, and it's a safe environment. So when a customer, when they want to edit their page, they are in a safe place. They can't make any mistake because everything is validated by the platform itself, by Sylius, by Symfony, and developers can bring very different UI elements in the system, so you will have access to all your entities whatsoever, customers, if you want, products, stores, anything will be available here. And basically, it's simple to adjust your pages. It's still simple to see what it gives you in the front end, and it's safe. So that's the main thing for us. But we are moving forward still, and probably having better preview system. We have one. I'm not sure it's released, but still we have one. But we're improving that to have a live preview system and stuff like, you're going to ask a question later, but AI and stuff like that.
Mikołaj?
What do we do to satisfy the end users? Let's start with the harsh truth, which is not that much since we are the technical solution first. But well, this exactly means that the best we do is we actually may make content management possible up to some extent. So you can manage simple blocks of content, basic media types, pages, templates, but ultimately it all goes down to how it's being developed. So that's how far it goes. And well, the best thing I can say about the user experience is that, well, it's more or less what you can experience from basically every other Sylius module. So like the simplicity of use, but not overloaded with features, but well, easy to customize or replace when you need it. So yeah.
Johannes.
The big difference is that Sulu was never designed as a technical product. We only used technology to provide the best user feeling on both sides. So also for the content manager in the admin and also for the web user. So we only use technology to make that possible. For example, we use technology to make the website as fast as possible. We use technology to make managing content in the backend as easy and as flexible as possible. And so we never had that feeling that Sulu is designed as technical, but technology is a very important part of it. Every feature we want to bring to our customers or to our users is designed to be as user-friendly, to be as usable, to be as valuable as possible by using the technology in the background. So we are never the gold standard in coding and using as much as possible. We choose technologies on the level that we want to bring that as easy as possible to the customers.
And when we are with features, I may ask you about the AI support in your solutions. So basically AI-assisted content creation, personalization, automation, and stuff like that. Is there something available or not, Jacques?
That's a very good question. I need to say first that before being able to give our merchants and our users the capability to do stuff with AI, we need to empower the AI ourselves to be able to drive it, to use it. And so this part today, it's not done because it will never be done, but we are reaching this point. So our next steps, a few days ago, I was able to I will make a parenthesis on what you said, because Sulu is driven by the user experience of your users. We have the other aspect, the developer experience. And that's important as well, because we want all of our plugins of the ecosystem to be, we can extend them, developers can extend them. And for that, yes, you need to create your own UI elements, because we give 18 by default. And to create those UI elements, you need to understand the code, you need to understand how it works and stuff like that. So AI will just give us the capability to, like Upson did a demo last week, like they have an MCP connected to your LLM and then you can deploy. That's my personal goal. So it will probably be done by the end of the year, but I'm not really good at delay, as you can know with the elephant, 5 years. So we will be able to have an MCP to help all the developers to create instantly UI elements. That's what I did a few days ago. So it's going faster and faster to create the elements. And then for the end user in the admin panel, probably capability to generate those UI elements and just to tell, okay, give me a page doing that, and we will generate that. It's easy if you take out the image part.
Mikołaj?
Well, yeah, the simplest answer is basically we don't. I kind of believe that's what starts to be the area of complexity. We should never chase as a CMS. Ultimately, we are an e-commerce platform, not a content management platform. So yeah, we basically leave that space to either developers to do on their own, solve that puzzle, or to other platforms who basically do content for a living. So chances are they will do it better than we would ever if we even tried. So yeah, so no AI in the standard Sylius CMS plugin. Sorry.
Johannes?
Also here, I
That
can
might
say
not be
more.
the most popular answer to the AI question these days, but yeah, that's how it is. I promise to be honest. So.
Yeah, we are working quite hardly on that topic. We saw that from different point of views, and we are currently trying to bring AI into the admin. So having not only a chat view where you can say you want to create a page or you want to deploy something, we are seeing it a little bit different. We want to bring it more into the UI as elements, as buttons, as input values, and at the end also as a search engine, because that's the best way how we could use AI in these days. Make it as flexible as possible, but also as usable as possible. And also here we say AI is only a technology to bring features into the UI that the content manager can use it easier. For example, we are currently implementing 2 things. One is an open source bundle, which will bring that buttons, for example, SEO generation or content optimization, into the UI with a standard OpenAI key. And on the other hand, we are also seeing that agencies will have really big problems in the future with solutions like that, because this field evolving is so fast and things changes so fast and so often that agencies will see more and more raging customers which have broken API keys or not paid credit cards in the future from customers and websites. They're not even managed the last 2 or 3 years from the agency, and they are raging against that. And we really see that this problem will grow and grow, because you need not only a single provider for AI, you need multiple ones. One is good for translations, the other is good for GDPR content because it's a European-based company or whatever. So you will have multiple different providers and API keys, and this problem is growing. And so we are currently also implementing a commercial service which tries to solve that problem for agencies. So managing all the access to the project and optimizing of prompts and so on. on. And that will be a big thing in the future. And I think that will also change how we will use content management, not in the way that lots of people think the AI will do, because chat is not only the thing which AI can, but how ugly things which no one would like to do will be automized. Yeah.
Okay, and Filippo.
Okay, so we are starting right now experimenting with AI in different fields, but for what concerns DegDitor, we have 3 steps and a half, let's say, because first step will be to automate the translations. The second step, we would like to integrate for generate content. And the fourth step is to generate whole pages, since DegDitor blocks are basically defined through YAML configuration. So you can send the YAML configuration of your blocks to AI, describe what each block does, and then the AI can send you back the page already filled with all the block composed. And these are the 3 main steps where we are experimenting right now. And there's another step that's not strictly related with AI, but what we would like to do is to create a connector, let's say a bridge between Figma designs and DegDitor blocks, so that when you create a component on Figma, you can immediately export it in YAML configuration and maybe have a draft implementation of the front end of the component from a front-end developer point of view, let's say. So we are experimenting this kind of approach with AI and Figma AI-driven integration, let's say.
And what I wanted to say, because that round is quite good, I already also talked to Commerce Weaver guys. The Sulu AI platform won't be coupled to Sulu. So it's an open platform which handles as proxy between the CMS or Sylius and the providers and managing the prompts there. So if anyone is interested, one of you guys or one of the audience also wants to see it and maybe also wants to integrate it into any CMS solution or Sylius CMS, we are open to talk to everyone about that.
Okay, and probably one of the last questions, or probably the last because we are running out of time. Johannes, you've mentioned credit cards, so I must ask you guys about the total cost of ownership of your solutions. How much does it cost? It's not about just the licensing, but hosting, maintenance, developer expertise, and so on.
I mean, Sulu has no licensing fee when we take away the AI thing, because AI is always expensive. Not so important if it's Sulu AI or if it's OpenAI, it's always expensive. But when we're talking about the standard Sulu, then there is no fee to start with. So we have all the features open sourced, we have all the features out there and can be used without any license fee, not even without contacting us. It's on GitHub and everyone can install it. On top of that, you need some experience at the end. You need some experienced Symfony developers. They have a background with different things, so it's not something you can start today and release tomorrow. It's something you have to learn. But if you have some experienced Symfony developers from Sylius or whatever, that shouldn't be a big issue. And when it comes to hosting, Sulu works on managed bare metal, small managed vServers everywhere in the world, but goes up to a highly scalable system with Kubernetes or even cloud functions, which is already possible. So the step into the system is no big deal, and you can grow with the system as far as you can think of. We have all the project sizes in between the small website with 2 or 3 blog posts per year to shop systems, sorry, no Sylius, which ships thousands of tickets in a few minutes at the peak day. So no issue about that. And the only thing which you have to have is experienced Symfony developers. The rest is absolutely optional.
Filippo?
I think that we are quite in the counterpart of what you've said, because I know we have a pricing and it's 2,500 euros one-off per primary domain, let's say, when you have all the for-deliver domains available and unlocked, and you are free to ask for a license to use in your local host and play with a plugin just to know it. For what concerns the total cost of ownership, I would say that you have we provide also a starter pack that's already been used by some agencies to speed up time to market and reduce initial cost of development of your e-commerce. But I would say that once you have your front-end developers have developed the blocks, so all the components of your editorial pages, when you are done. Unless you are doing very complex things, I think that you could not feel the need of a backend developer, let's say. It's all about front-end.
Jacques.
The gap to install all the CMS stuff and to run them on the server, as the gap is almost zero, because installation takes a couple of minutes using Composer. But obviously, you need a developer for that, at least a junior. It should be fine. And to create all our UI elements, actually, that's the first thing we give to our junior developers. It's to do some UI elements because it's quite easy. It's enough documented, and AI will help a lot with documentation, probably. And on the server part, nothing more than your actual instance. Everything works with Sylius, basically.
Mikołaj?
I think that ultimately this is true for every solution. Like the cost goes down to how long it takes to set up and how long it takes to learn and eventually maintain according to your needs. So with the CMS we offer, it runs on the same instance. It's super, obviously it's MIT based, so it's open source. You can use it the way you want. Ultimately, your cost goes down to the training of the developer, so how quickly that person can learn how to use it and how much customizations that person has to do to meet some kind of goals you have related to content management. So the more needs, the more the price, the more the time, the more the effort. And it always goes down to question, because if it grows significantly, there's a better value you can get from any other solution out there. If I may summarize, at least from my point of view, if you start small, start simple, or would like to experiment with content as a developer, and you start with what we offer at Sylius, then eventually, if that somewhat becomes not enough, then you move with what Jacques has to offer, which is something still developer-centric, but also has a lot of great user features. Then eventually, if you want to go even further but still don't want to set up a different instance and you want to have everything managed within your e-commerce and you are ready that you will have to invest a little bit more into learning, eventually you might have to learn React and the running costs might grow a little, but not so much because it's still in the same platform. Then you go with DegDitor, and let's say the value it offers for $2.5 it's not that, or euro for instance. It's not that I know more expensive content management system that provide far less value. But eventually, if your content needs are very sophisticated and your content team is huge and the processes are very complex, then you eventually need a different system to manage that. Then Sulu might be your best friend if you use Sylius. This is at least how I see it.
I also say that this sums it up more or less. So all of our solutions make sense and needs to be taken counter when you choose something like that. And I think that sums it up.
It's not a competition, so all the needs.
Sorry, no punching today.
No. Yeah, no octagon. Yeah, okay.
No blood.
I think we're done for today. I would like to thank all our guests today and say to you, thank you for coming, thank you for listening, thank them for not fighting today. See you.
Well,
And find us around. We'll be able to answer questions, of course.
We have time for questions because next speaker should be starting like right now. But we are here around, so if you want to ask any, just say hi.